First off, I want to thank you guys for this opportunity to be working here at Normal High School. I think it's going to be a really good fit. I think that it's really, if this stressful transition had to happen, I'm glad that it happened at the beginning of the year rather than later because, you know, you guys know as well as I do that, confusion and chaos and all that stuff, it doesn't make for a very, seamless educational environment. So, like that being said, looking over the roster, that's kind of where what my goal is to create a seamless educational, atmosphere that kind of promotes learning for these students. Especially with all the confusion of who's going to teach my English class, what are we going to learn, what are we going to do from day to day. Just kind of hampering those notions early on and setting up a good, solid core for them to be learning, just throughout the year so that every single day when they come in, they know that they're going to get something out of that day, whether they like it or not, whether at the moment they want to or not. My strategy right now is just to create that for my students. And through the strategies that I'm going to go through with you guys, I feel like those are just kind of some the groundwork that can kind of meet all of the different backgrounds and all the different contextual factors that my class offers. And, okay, the foundation of my class is going to be essentially geared around four foundational objectives that are going on throughout the semester or the year. First of all, daily journals. One of my big philosophies is, especially in my content area, the English classroom, the more students write, the better they'll become. And the better writers that they become, the more potential they have of enjoying writing. And so that's why I've implemented into my class this idea of daily journals. Every day, as our warm up, it's going to be 5 to 10 minutes of journals. And in these journals, it'll usually be in the form of notebook papers in the binder, or just a spiral notebook or something like that. But generally in these journals, it's going to be solely for the sake of the students' thoughts. Whatever they want to talk about, that's what they can write down in these journals. There's not a page limit. There's not a huge grade. The only grade that's going to be taken is the grade at the end of each semester. That is essentially me taking the journals and making sure that everybody's doing them. But that's going to be something that's going on throughout the semester anyways. So really, it's something that I'm trying to get. I'm going to try and get the students to have as little stress about this as possible, because for a lot of these students, especially the ones that already have trouble with writing, the ones that already have trouble with reading, like it's already possibly going to be burdensome for them. So really what I'm trying to do is create for them an environment where they can enjoy writing at first and foremost. And so that's going to kind of get their creative and their educational gears going in the beginning of the class period every single day. Second of all, the second, I guess, foundational year-long objective is going to be what I call book in a semester. Now, these are books that will be pre-approved by me, but there really is no guidelines for like what the kids can and can't bring in. In other words, as long as it's school appropriate, they can read it. Now, the reason that there's so much freedom here is because it's something that they're going to be reading throughout the entire semester. It's literally just going to be fun reading. It's not it's not a race. It's not a something that they're gonna be tested on necessarily in the form of a question test. Although there will be some assessment going on, summative. But essentially, it's just something that they can enjoy, because just like writing, the more they read, the better readers they'll become. The better readers they'll become, the more chances of them enjoying reading. And in the English classroom, I don't have to tell you guys that if they enjoy reading and if they enjoy writing, they're going to be in much better shape as far as being better students, better working members of society, better communication skills and everything. Now, as far as the summative assessment of this book in a semester assignment, again, incorporating a whole lot of freedom. It could be in the form of a 2 to 5 page paper. Most students won't want to do that, so it could be in the form of an oral presentation of some sort. I can get you guys, if y'all want to, the rubric for that I've put together. It's usually anywhere between a 2 to 4 minute oral presentation. Nothing too stressful for the kids. Just something to let me know that they're reading, and something to let the other kids know possibly what they might enjoy reading as well. But if most of the students are not into the 2 to 3 page papers or the oral presentation, if that's not what they want to do, there's also a video presentation, or write a song, draw a graphic novel, draw an illustration of the plot of the book. It's not really anything as far as um, you know analyzing the meanings and the thematic elements and things like that. It's not really that, and it's more of um, just getting in there, enjoying the reading, enjoying what you're putting together, and then that will produce something that their classmates can enjoy with them. Now, the third thing, that, and we kind of touched on this in the book in a semester as far as the summative assessment goes, but in a lot of my lessons, pretty much all of my lessons, whether they be, small or big, one day or several weeks, I'm going to incorporate a lot of whole class discussion. Just using general Socratic questioning that is going to stimulate kids to want to talk. And I feel like that's really going to be able to let the kids that express themselves through that oral communication. It's going to let them flourish, but it's also going to challenge other students to raise their own standards. And at the same time, it's going to show the kids that have certain challenges. It's going to show them that there are students around them that might be able to help. Like just really trying to push the kids learning themselves, instead of me sitting in front of the classroom all day teaching. Letting them take a hold of their own learning, and just kind of producing that that educational stimulus. And the fourth thing is oral presentation. And again, going back to that whole class discussion, I really something that I think gets put in the back burner of the high school English class a lot of times is the necessity of verbal communication. But looking over the roster, we do have a lot of kids that have disabilities. We have a lot of kids that don't really work well with other kids. And then just in general the things that go on in the high school classroom. So for that reason, I think that it could possibly, for some of these students, be detrimental to put one of them in front of a class talking to 25 of their peers, for 3 to 5 minutes. So for that reason, I put together this idea of group oral presentations. A thing that I had in my college methods class was we taught the class. Groups of 3 and 4 of us would just learn the chapter or learn half the chapter, and we would just give the presentation. And I feel like that really works in all levels of education, not just adult education in the college classroom, but in high school education as well, because you're learning together with the students. I'm sitting across from my peer, and we're discussing the chapter, and in that way we're remembering and we're synthesizing that information, and we're learning it on several different levels of Bloom's taxonomy, and it's just it's good all around. For the kids that don't want to learn, it's gonna kind of ease them into the notion of learning because they're gonna see the kids around them learning. And for the kids that do want to learn, it's gonna show them to be to be very successful and to help their fellow students along in their education.